GMB's Richard Madeley forced to make diet change after worrying he'd faint on air. TV's Richard Madeley has candidly opened up about his initial fears of fainting on air during the early days of joining ITV's Good Morning Britain. Chatting to the Spectator's Tabletop podcast, the seasoned journalist, now 68, explained that a super early 4 a.m. start means skipping a sit-down breakfast for quick glucose tablets to energize himself for the show. Despite his best efforts, Richard confessed he struggled with adapting to the grueling wake-up calls and was relieved to discover he wasn't alone in dreading the alarm clock amongst his co-stars. Detailing his no-fuss morning ritual, he commented, "I just roll out of bed. There's no time for breakfast. I roll out of bed. I have a chewy glucose tablet or two to get my blood sugar up, and a swig of orange juice, and I'm out the house in 10 minutes, and then I get to work." But it wasn't all smooth sailing from there, as Richard noticed a concerning drop in energy during the program. To combat this, he shared his little trick, setting aside some carbs to devour before their 5 a.m. briefing, a crucial part of maintaining his on-screen spark. Richard opened up about his on-air health scares, revealing that low blood sugar levels were causing him to feel dizzy during intense interviews on Good Morning Britain. To combat this, he shared his new routine. "What I've been doing recently is, I found my blood sugar was getting very low while I was on air if I hadn't had anything to eat, and I was getting a bit dizzy, actually, a couple of times, particularly when I was doing stressful interviews." He continued, detailing his preventative measures. "I thought, God, I'm going to faint on air. So what I do now is, as well as having those glucose tablets, which is quite recent, and the orange juice, again, quite recent, I make a little half a sandwich the night before and put it in the fridge, and I take that with me." Richard then explained how he manages his energy levels. "I eat that in my dressing room when I'm waiting to have our last conference at 5 in the morning. So, I just have a small sandwich and the orange juice, and that keeps me going." However, Richard admitted that his dietary challenges don't end once the cameras stop rolling. He discussed the difficulties of maintaining a healthy diet after early shifts. "The trouble with doing breakfast shifts is that when you get home, the whole business of getting up early, the appetite suppressant in your brain doesn't work," said the broadcaster. He elaborated on the struggle with constant hunger. "Everybody talks about this. You come home, and you just can't stop snacking. You cannot switch off the hunger bug. It's very difficult to maintain healthy eating in the morning when you're doing the breakfast show, but you just have to work at it." This candid discussion isn't Richard's first time addressing his eating habits. In a 2023 Guardian interview, he reminisced about some less-than-ideal dietary choices he made in his younger years. He opened up about his past struggles, saying, "I smoked 60 cigarettes a day through my 20s. For decades I failed to quit. That changed when Judy Finnegan and I interviewed Nigella Lawson's late husband John Diamond, who was charting his slow death from smoking-induced throat and oral cancer. Afterwards, I flushed my bands down the toilet and haven't touched one since."